Good morning, students. Today we are going to see lesson number 6, conflict with the Mughals. So far, Shivaji Maharaj has successfully fought the Adil Shahi, but for expanding the Swaraj, conflict with the Mughals was inevitable. The Mughals posed a great threat to Swaraj even as it began to expand. Maharaj trembled over this threat too. He regained his fort and territories from the Mughals. He got himself crowned. He took up the campaign of South. We shall learn about all these events in this chapter. First, Shahiste Khan's invasion. In February 1660, Shahisте Khan left from Ahmednagar and entered the Pune province. He ravaged the territory of the Swaraj by sending small units of his army to neighboring areas. He encamped at Sakan. Firangozi Narsala, the Killedar of the fort Sakan, offered strong resistance to the Shahisте Khan's army. Finally, the Mughals captured the fort of Sakan. Shaiste Khan set up his camp at Lal Mahal in Pune, where Shivaji Maharaj had lived in his childhood. Khan sent forces in a region around Pune. These forces looted the people. 2 years passed, but he would not think of leaving Pune. Naturally, this had an adverse effect on the people's morale. In these circumstances, Maharaj drew up a bold plan. Shivaji Maharaj decided to raid Lal Mahal secretly under his own leadership. On 5th April 1663, Maharaj raided Lal Mahal at night with a select band of soldiers. In his raid, Shaiste Khan lost his fingers. He suffered a great humiliation. He left Pune and shifted his camp to the Aurangabad. Due to this episode, he incurred the displeasure of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb transferred him to the province of Bengal. The successful attack of Shahiste Khan had an impact on the people, and their faith in the capability of the Maharaj was strengthened even further. Now next it is the Surat campaign. In 3 years' time, Shahiste Khan had ravaged the last territories of Swaraj. It was necessary to make a good this loss. For this, Shivaji Maharaj devised a plan for teaching the Mughals a lesson. Surat was a big trade center and port under the Mughals' control. The British, Dutch, and French had their factories there. Maximum revenue was being generated by this city for the emperor. It was a rich city. Maharaj marched on Surat. Inayat Khan, the Subedar of Surat, could not put any resistance. Maharaj obtained plenty of wealth from the Surat without bothering the common people. His campaign of Surat was completely successful. This campaign was turning blow to Emperor Aurangzeb's prestige. Next it is the Jai Singh's invasion. With a view of curbing the increasing activities of Shivaji Maharaj, Aurangzeb sent Mirza Raja Jai Singh, an experienced and powerful Rajput Sardar. Jai Singh came to Pune. He started rallying all the forces against the Shivaji Maharaj to the Portuguese of Goa and Vasai, the Dutch of Vengurla, the British of Surat, and the Siddhis of Janjira. Jai Singh suggested that they should start the naval campaign against Maharaj. Jai Singh drew up a plan capturing the fort and possession of Maharaj. Mughal forces were sent to various parts of the Swaraj. They ravaged the territories of the Swaraj. Maharaj invaded to resist the Mughals. Jai Singh and Diler Khan led sign to the fort of Purandar. When the Mughals put the fort of Purandar under the sign, Murarbaji Deshpande fought with the greatest of courage. He died a hero's death. Considering the seriousness of the situation, Maharaj began to talk for a treaty with the Jai Singh. He made Jai Singh personally. A treaty between Jai Singh and Maharaj was signed in June 1665. It is known as the Treaty of Purandar. In accordance with the terms of treaty, Maharaj gave to the Mughals 23 of the forts and adjoining territories, yielding an annual revenue of 4 lakh horns. He also assured the Mughals to help against the Adil Shahi. The treaty of was ratified by the Aurangzeb. Next, we are going to see Agra visit and escape. After the Treaty of Purandar, Jai Singh launched a campaign against the Adil Shahi. Maharaj helped Jai Singh, but this campaign of Jai Singh was not successful. Jai Singh and Aurangzeb felt that Shivaji Maharaj out to be kept away, at least for some time, from the Deccan politics. Jai Singh proposed to Shivaji Maharaj that he should visit the Agra and meet the emperor. He guaranteed the safety of Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj set out for Agra. He was accompanied by Prince Sambhaji and a few of his trusted people who were ready to risk their lives for him. Shivaji Maharaj reached Agra. Aurangzeb died Aurangzeb did not treat him with due honor at his court. Maharaj gave vent to his rage. The emperor then put him under the emperor then put him under house arrest. Under, under arrest by his action of emperor, Maharaj devised a plan escaping from the house arrest. He adroitly escaped from Agra and reached Maharashtra safely. After a few days, he reached Rajgarh. While returning from Agra, he had left Sambhaji Raje at Mathura. Later, Prince Sambhaji was brought safely to Raigad. While Maharaj was away from Swaraj, Veer Mata Jizabai and associates of Shivaji Maharaj looked after the administration of Swaraj. Next, on the offensive against the Mughals. Immediately after the returning from Agra, Maharaj did not want any conflicts with the Mughals. However, he wanted to recapture the forts and territories given to the Mughals as per the Purandar Treaty. For this, he prepared a comprehensive and bold plan. It was his strategy to capture the forts by sending a well-equipped army on the one hand, and on the other hand, to keep the Mughals unstable by invading the territories of the Deccan under their control. Maharaj attacked the Mughal territories of Ahmednagar and Junnar. Then he recaptured the several forts such as Sinhgarh, Purandar, Lohagarh, Mahuli, Karnala, and Rohida, one after the other. Then Maharaj attacked the Surat for the second time. While returning from Surat, he fought a great battle with the Mughals at Wani Dindori in Nashik district. Maharaj defeated the Mughal Sardar Daud Khan in great battle. After that, Moropanta Pingre captured the Trimbakgarh near Nashik. Thus, Shivaji Maharaj was successful in the offensives that he had launched against the Mughals. Sardars such as Tanaji Malusre, Moropanta Pingre, Prataprao Guzar, etc. made a valuable contribution in this offensive. Krishnaji Ananta Sabhasad, a contemporary chronicler, thus describes this campaign. He took as many 27 forts in 4 months and earned a great reputation for himself. Next, we are going to see the coronation. The founding of the Maratha Swaraj involved a relentless struggle for over 30 years. Maharaj realized that now it was necessary for the Swaraj to win general recognition as a sovereign independent state. For this, a formal coronation was necessary. On 6 June 1674, he had himself coronated at Raigad by Gaga Bhatt, a learned Pandit. Maharaj ascended the throne of the Swaraj, now became a Chhatrapati of a Swaraj. As a symbol sovereignty, the Rajabhishek Shaka, the coronation era, was started. Maharaj became the founder of new era. On the occasion of the coronation, special coins were minted. A gold coin called a Hon and a copper called coin the Shivrai with the legend Sri Raja Shiv Chhatrapati inscribed on them. Thereafter, all royal correspondence carried the words Kshatriya Kulavatansa Sri Raja Shiv Chhatrapati. A dictionary showing Sanskrit alternatives for Persian words was prepared. It is known as the Raja Vyavahara Kosh. The coronation of Shivaji Maharaj was a revolutionary event in the history of medieval India. While explaining the importance of this event, Sabhasat Contemporary Chronicle writes, it was a no mean achievement of Maratha king to become such a great Chhatrapati. Shortly after this, on 24 September 1674, Shivaji Maharaj had his second coronation performed under the guidance of Nichalpuri Gosavi. There were two traditions of religious coronation ceremonies in India, Vedic and Tantric. Maharaj honored both traditions and had two coronation ceremonies performed. The Campaign of the South. 3 years after the coronation in October 1677, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj undertook the Campaign of the South. He went to Golconda. There he called on Qutub Shah. He entered in the Treaty of Friendship with him. Later Maharaj won Bengaluru, Hoskote in Karnataka, Jinji, Vellore, etc. forts in today's Tamil Nadu and some other territories of Adil Shah. He appointed Raghunath Narayan Hirmante, the chief administrator, to look after these conquered territories. Venkoji, the half-brother of Shivaji Maharaj, was then ruling on at Tanjavur. Shivaji Maharaj tried to get him to participate in the activities of Swaraj after Venkoji Raje. The rulers of Tanjavur encouraged art and learning. The Saraswati Mahal library there is a world famous. In this campaign of South, Maharaj had annexed the fort of Jinji in Tamil Nadu to Swaraj. This proved to be of great importance in later years. When the Mughal emperors stayed put Maharashtra to destroy Swaraj, then the Chhatrapati Rajaram Maharaj had to leave the Maharashtra for a reason of safety. At that time, he took shelter in the southern fort of Jinji and ran the administration of Swaraj from there. Soon after the victorious campaign of the south, Shivaji Maharaj passed away on Raigad 3rd April 1680. His death at the age of 50 was a great loss for Swaraj. A great era came to an end. Here our lesson number 6 is completed. You should solve the exercise below it.